Welcome to Hooking Up and Tracking Down. It's 11:30. The Tiger, Gary McCoy, along with the Ranger Pro staffer, Steve Graff. Mike Eccles in the house with us today. And this segment is brought to you by Nichols Department Stores, Toledo Fiberglass, Paul's Farm and Garden, and J&J Exterminating. Guys, it's going to be an incredible day.
I can't wait. Hey, we got one button over there that's not turned up far enough, I think. The headphones, Steve?
Stink bait?
The one above it. Is that the headphone one? Which one's headphones?
That's it.
There we go.
Now we're okay there. It's the other one.
No, it's going to be a great day.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a good time.
No. I was on Facebook a minute ago, and I got another Candy Crush request. So
hey, do me a favor. Do not send me a game request.
It's going to be a great day. I just got another request to play Candy Crush. I'm so excited.
I am sick of those. Please, if I'm on your contact list, do not send me. Please play this game. I don't have time for games.
Yeah.
We
got to catch a fish.
What in the
Well, you don't
Candy Crush.
You don't. Are you even on Facebook?
Yes.
Are you really?
Yes, and I've had.
We are too. Check us out. Hooking Up and website hutd.net. hutd.net.
You play on your phone, Mike.
Just tell me it's some type of stupid game. I figure that's what it is.
Fruit coming down, and you're trying to align your.
What's the one with the animals?
I don't know.
The one with the animals.
Barnyard happiness.
You got to collect the animals. I don't want to feed your animal. I'm sorry. I have 3 animals of my own I got to feed regularly.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, it's going to be a great day. Okay, I promised you some really cool stuff. Of course, Johnny Geis, our Lake Fork pro, is going to be on the phone with us here in about 15 minutes or so.
I'm going to make a prediction and say that we do not break the record this week.
Okay, he caught 5 last week for the week before.
We caught 5 during our 12, 13-minute interview.
Yeah.
I'm going to say today, with the front going through, I'm going to say that does not happen today. Only because Mother Nature, not because of Johnny.
Yeah.
And not because of Lake Fork.
Yeah.
But if he breaks the record today, well, he's already the man.
Yeah.
He's the man.
When you catch 5 fish over 5 pounds
in less than
12 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Hey, that's incredible. We're going Monday and Tuesday of next week, and I can't wait. My daughter is so excited about this.
On today's show, hunting and fishing, the 2014 Sportsman's Expo coming up August the 22nd through the 24th, Shreveport Convention Center. Of course, we got Jackie Bibby, the Texas Snake Man. He's coming back with that big old albino python that he's got.
I didn't see him last time.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
No,
he's got the big pit full of rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Man, did you notice, because I can smell a cottonmouth. Did you notice the stink of those rattlesnakes?
No, I didn't see that exhibit.
They stink. I don't know. I don't know.
They got an odor.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's not as distinct as a cottonmouth.
There were so many of them.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but they
probably from me standing on the outside of the cage. That's probably what that smell was.
It's a different smell, Mike.
But I read I think we mentioned this once. I read an article not long ago that said they really think that rattlesnakes do not rattle as a warning as much as they used to. They've actually been conditioned, people and probably hogs and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't want to alert somebody because they've got predators now with the hogs that rattlesnakes will not let you know they're there as much as they used to.
I'll be done.
That's an assumption.
Can a rattler kill a hog?
I wouldn't think he could bite through him.
He'd break a tooth off.
I'm telling you. Let's see.
We got a call on the phone.
Okay. Now this is Mark.
It's Mark Gnert.
Okay.
Mark, you with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mark is the national director of the TBF and the High School World Championship.
Yeah, and they're in Lake Darnell this week. Mark, tell us what's going on there and how many guys you got fishing this year.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Steve. Always a pleasure to come on your show, and we're really excited. First of all, we've got absolutely pristine weather here today. We've got 117 boats from 17 different states here fishing in the High School World Finals, and had a big registration banquet last night, fed about 700 people, and they're on the water today. Perfect takeoff this morning, and a couple teams been in already, get some more ice. They got fish in a box, and we're excited.
Well, this morning was like a fall morning. I know it's probably cooler up in Arkansas than it was here. It felt great here this morning. I bet those kids were excited today.
Oh, absolutely. First time ever. We've been here for 5 years. First time I've ever worn a jacket to the takeoff. Usually it's about 90 degrees and the humidity is about 90%, but it was beautifully cool this morning. Nice moon out there, and just a great day.
Have you got any ideas to, what types of patterns are going to emerge for these kids out there?
With this cooler weather, a little different change here. I think it's really going to equalize the playing field, and even the local guys. We've got about 50 teams here from Arkansas that are fishing, and I heard the comments up and down the dock this morning. Things are going to change. This little cooler weather is going to change things up a little. So it's going to be anybody's game, and I see a few teams. I'm looking out the window right now. A few of them are fishing a big rock bank along the break wall, fishing the riprap along that rock wall, and other guys I know we're heading for a stump field this morning. So one thing about Lake Dardanelle is you got every combination of habitat you could ever hope to have.
You bet.
Now, where you said 17 states represented? Is that right, Mark?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who's the farthest state? Where's the farthest team from?
Well, we give away a prize called the Going the Distance Award, and so we'll determine that and have it. But I've got 3 teams that have come a long way. It's actually 4. I got a team from Tampa, Florida. I've got a team from Montana. I've got a team from Arizona, and I got a team that came from the Virginia coast.
Wow.
So they came a long ways, let alone a big contingency from Texas, Arkansas, teams from Kentucky and Tennessee where our programs are growing very, very fast. So we've got a great diversity of kids here, and they're just a fantastic bunch and the nicest bunch of polite kids you've ever met in your life.
Mark, did those kids from Montana understand y'all were bass fishing and not necessarily hunting an elk or, a mule deer?
Yeah, I wasn't sure you could get from Montana to Arkansas.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. Well, you got all corners of the country represented, Mark. You're in the Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest. You got the whole gamut. I just think it's a testament to how much high school bass fishing is really starting to grow.
I mentioned at the banquet last night when I spoke to the kids, I said, this is our 5th high school world finals. We started our high school fishing program. We ran this event first 5 years ago. And at that event, we had 76 boats come from 15 or 16 teams, and that's when there was no high school fishing to speak of hardly anywhere. Only the state of Illinois really had any kind of significant numbers through their high school athletic association. And in less than 5 years, about 4 years of us doing state championships, we've got a database with over 9,500 high school anglers that have been through our Student Angler Federation program in less than 4 years. And I'll tell you, it is it's for me personally, it is just a very, very encouraging thing to see because we're getting kids off the couch and getting them back into the great outdoors.
Amen.
Hey, Mark, what is the format for this event? Are they actually competing today? And if so, how many days? And is it a cut down to the finals?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This is kind of the most unique format that you're ever going to see in a fishing tournament, and we built it specifically for 2 things. One is we wanted to make sure that we made it as equal as we possibly could. So those kids from Montana had the same chance as those kids that live right here in Arkansas. So here's the format. The first 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, they fish against their own state. So the top 2 teams at the end of Thursday, the top 2 teams from each state will advance on to what we call a semifinal round. So that'll probably give us about 25 boats. 2 teams from Arkansas, 2 teams. If you're the only team from Montana, you've got to catch a fish. You can't zero and get into the semifinal. Getting into that semifinal is a big deal because if they get a longer fishing day, and automatically at the end of the day on Friday, the top 10 weights out of that semifinal are going on to Saturday's final. Now, if you don't make the semifinal, maybe you're 3rd from the state of Arkansas out of 50 boats. You drop into a consolation round on Friday, and it's like double elimination in the baseball game. You got a chance to fish your way back in. We zero the weights for Friday, so you can basically zero the first 2 days, go out and catch a big bag on Friday, and get right back in the game. So nobody's ever out of the game, and it equalizes it so everybody has an equal chance to make that final. We'll take 20 boats to the final, and then we have a big pizza party for them at a big water park on Friday night, and we'll have what we call the Lucky Dog. We incorporate a little NASCAR in it. We'll have a drawing for anybody that's in the final. If you want to take a stab at the drawing and get in to fish one more day, we'll pull somebody's name out of a hat and take them through the final. So it might be a team never caught a fish, but they get in the Lucky Dog drawing and get a chance to get back in.
Oh, wow! How you keep up with all that? Lord have mercy.
Let me tell you, Friday's a tough day because Thursday, we assign 117 boat numbers. On Friday morning, we've got to reassign new boat numbers to 2 separate groups. We basically have 2 tournaments going out. And I'll tell you, I was scared to death when we did it last year, thinking, well, they'll never get their boat number right. And the takeoff went absolutely perfect. These guys pay attention. They listen to what you have to tell them. Their boat captains do a great job because their boat captains aren't fishing. And those boat captains don't want to make a mistake in front of those kids. So they all pay attention. This morning, we sent out 117 teams in about 30 minutes.
Now,
it was just like It was just like a clockwork.
Mark, are these kids bringing their own boat captain, or are you having to assign boat captains to them when you get there? You getting local help or what?
No, sir. They bring their own boat captain from all corners of the country. If they are in need of a boat captain, we try to help them. We had to help one local team whose had a grandfather who got sick, and so we helped the team mom round up a boat captain and get them going. But they bring their own boats. They bring their own boat captains. They fish as a team, and they're doing great out there.
Now, what are these kids competing for? I mean, is there any scholarship money, or are they
absolutely.
just
Yeah, absolutely. We still got a little scholarship money coming in, but last year it was an $8,000 scholarship. $4,000 to each kid to the college of their choice was the grand prize. And then we give away, most of our prizes are basically prizes for secondary education. We don't give away a lot of rods and reels. We give away laptop computers, dormitory refrigerators, things that they're going to use in their secondary education. That's the kind of prize packages we put together here.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. Now, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I heard Bethel University is the only school that's given fishing scholarships at this time?
Well, at one time they were, but they're getting lots of competition now because a lot of these schools, especially schools that are NAIA schools, that aren't under the NCAA banner, they're jumping on board. I know Dallas Baptist has a strong fishing program, Campbellsville University in Kentucky, and Bryan College in Tennessee. We had a huge state championship in Tennessee. We had 124 boat field in Tennessee for a state championship. Bryan College right there in Dayton, Tennessee, put up a $10,000 scholarship to the winners to come to Bryan College because they're starting a brand new team, and they wanted our top anglers on that team.
Now, these anglers that are showing up with you, these are all high school anglers. What's the average age of these? 16, 17 years old?
Yeah, I would say 16 is probably the average age. I mean, our rules are they've got to have completed the 8th grade but not yet started college. So they could be an 8th grader that's just waiting to become a freshman next year in this event, or they could have just graduated in May, waiting to start college, and you're still eligible for this event. So big diversity of field, but I'd say 16 is probably our average age, and these guys are good. You wouldn't want to fish against them all day long because you can't wear them out.
Hey, Mark, give me just a rough estimate. You said this is 4 years. The percentage of growth in the high school fishing, start off the first year. I mean, you grew, and just to guess. But I'm really interested. I'm thinking that this could be one of the fastest growing segments in the fishing industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it absolutely is. And in the high school sports in general, there are only a couple sports ahead of us, lacrosse being one that is more popular than high school fishing right now. And we're growing in our Student Angler Federation, the clip between 30 to 40% a year. So we're getting good numbers. In the state of Kentucky, we've got high school fishing as a sanctioned varsity sport, and we doubled in size from year 1 to year 2, and I expect it to probably be close to doing that again. Now, that state sanctioning, doesn't fit every location, so a lot of people will hear that and say, well, we got to get that in our state, and Steve and I have discussed this before. If the shoe fits, it's a great fit, but sometimes the shoe doesn't fit, depending on the structure of that state high school athletic association. But regardless of that, nationwide, 35 to 40% growth is pretty standard there, and we're excited about where we're going.
If you marched into any Wall Street office right now and you told them you were going to give them 30 to 40% growth per annum,
yeah,
dude,
they're all over.
You'd be King Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be pretty popular guys, wouldn't we?
Now, when it's all said and done, these kids that go away from this, do you? How often do you see those kids again? I mean, do you have any return champions this year?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we've got we have the High School Fishing World Finals, which is a huge open invitational. This is you don't have to qualify to get here. You've just got to be a Student Angler Federation member. So we created this event so anybody can come enjoy a multi-day big-time tournament. So I don't care if you've never won your state championship or anything else. Anybody can come to this. But on the state championship side, we advance our kids on the regionals and then on to the high school national championship. We have the defending high school national champion here. He's all the way here from Arizona. His name's Shane Edgar. Great angler. He won our TBF Junior Championship when he was like 12 or 13 years old. He's been working his way up the high school ranks. He taps into the BFLs and wears them out in the West Coast area. He's just a very, very good angler and a name that you're going to be seeing a lot in the future. And then I know at the registration last night, I started reading these kids' names off, reading their pairings list. And one of the encouraging things was that I knew 75% of these kids. I'd been at their state championship and knew them and knew where they were from. And we just keep getting them back, and they are diehard anglers.
Well, Mark, we're going to let you go. We're fixing to take a break. But, hey, make sure you let the winners know. We're going to have them on our show next week. And would like to get interviews. So get their contact information. I'll be in touch with you at the end of the week. And see if we can't get them on the show for next week.
Absolutely. You got some local boys here. We got a team from Benton here, a team from Airline High School, and
Yeah.
we got a team from West Monroe. So could be a Louisiana team, and that would be a good fit for you guys.
All right.
Hey, well, can you tell us who's there from Benton and who's from Airline?
I know the one is Bailey Britt and his partner.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and the other one, the name's escaping me here.
Is it Cameron Madison?
Cameron Madison.
Yep, Cameron Madison's the other one. Yes, sir.
Good luck to those boys.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I figured it too. It was.
Mark, thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you very much, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to be on, and we'll get those winners on there next week.
All right,
bet.
man. Thank you, Mark.
Mark
All right, take care.
National Director of the TBF, the High School World Championship going on right now, Lake Dardanelle.
Yep.
Have you ever been up there?
I've never been to Darnell.
What about you?
No.
Me neither.
I heard it's a great place to fish.
Well, we'll find out next week, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we're going to find out.
Stay close. Johnny Geis is coming up. He's got the Lake Fork report for us on hooking up and tracking down. 11:30, the Tiger.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452. You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter and fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Sandtone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as trap, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecore Bridge.
Did you notice some brands sending out trophies from 2006 at boat shows this year? Really? That's like wearing your high school Letterman jacket to a job interview when you're 30. But if other brands are going to raise the issue of awards, no matter how old they may be, we're happy to join the conversation. When it comes to awards, Sea Ray is in a class all its own. Sea Ray is the most awarded boat brand ever. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter has yours waiting for you. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter is Louisiana's family-owned RV and marine dealer.
You're hooking up and tracking down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Toledo Fiberglass, Paul's Farm and Garden, and J&J Exterminating. Now back to the best outdoor radio show west of the Mississippi and east of the Rockies with Steve Graff, Gary McCoy, and the one and only Mike Eccles.
You know why you're the one and only. God broke the mold and then he made Mike.
And then he apologized.
Oh, yeah.
He apologized.
Somewhere in Revelation there, God's like, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I thought it'd be funny.
A man's got to be known for something.
Johnny Geis is on the phone. Johnny, are you fishing?
Well, I'm sitting here watching these guys fish, but we're on the water, that's for sure.
Well, y'all are on the clock. We started the clock right now.
Yeah, we've got a little pot going between the three of us here. We're trying to determine whether or not you're going to break the record again this week.
Hey, hold on. He just got one. No,
That's one. Okay, that's one.
That's one. His dad's it, and now I got three young guys in high school or junior high, and they are having a ball.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, what's the lake looking like? I mean, you had this little front come in. Has it changed the game?
It did a little bit. We hadn't caught but about 6 or 7 this morning. This will make 8, I believe. And we're still kind of a noon to mid-afternoon bite. And it's still good, but it was a little off yesterday. Even the perch even bit a little funny, but we had 18 nice bass, so they bit good.
Because you're catching these big fish with such regularity. It's almost just stupid how dependable that bite has been for you. There might be somebody though that's if they've seen any of the brim, like what Steve and I saw that you use for bait. What's a good brim pattern? Where does somebody go to catch those big old suckers?
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest part of this whole thing is having a good fresh supply of bluegill, because I like to have them, pretty frisky and fresh. We stopped on a crappie brush pile a few minutes ago. It was about 18 foot of water. And I sit there on a cushion with a bucket of crickets and taking off brim, and these guys put about 25 or 30, just 3 to 5 inch bluegills in the boat, and we've got a real good supply of bait right now. So that's the way you do it. You got to find some crappie brush piles or have your own, and those brim are stacked in these brush piles.
So the black salties just don't do what the brim do, right?
I just don't catch as consistent of bigger bass. You'll catch smaller ones, and maybe a few more numbers with the salties, but they're getting hard to come by around these parts right now. So I just pretty much stand right now with the bluegill.
Johnny Geist, #1 guide on Lake Fork. Johnny, if somebody needs to book a trip with Johnny Geist before everything kind of moves into that fall pattern, if they want to take advantage of this and go catch fish as opposed to just go fishing, what's the best number?
Good question. And first, I just hope it holds up through August this year. Sometimes it doesn't, but our water temperature is still not too hot yet. It's 85. It's dropped down. It was 88. And they seem to bite better when it's 80 to 90 degrees. So
you just got to hold up through next Tuesday, and we're good.
I think it'll hold up through the end of August. One year it was like this, and they did hold up good before they made their migration. And we did go try to catch some of our artificials yesterday after we had about 15 in the boat. And that guy said, "Boy, this isn't no fun. Let's go back and do what we were doing."
Steve, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
No, it doesn't sound familiar at all.
I do have some open dates right around 1st of August, so I'd like to get some people on this before it just slows up. But my number is 972-800-3882. That's 972-800-3882. Or on my website, lakeforkbigfish.com.
Johnny, I'm going to go ahead and warn you right now. Graff hadn't been totally honest with you. He's bringing the whole girls' basketball team next week. It's not
I am buying 2 more buckets of crickets on this.
I got 3 lady demons. We got 3 lady demons coming, and myself.
Now, Johnny, because we were talking about the brim, can the brim be too small to be of interest to those big fish?
It's interesting you asked that, because I caught a 1068 on one that wasn't much bigger than your thumbnail the other day. I mean,
really?
I had a 6/0 hook, and I'm thinking, well, this is useless, but I'm gonna put it down anyway. And that old big fish sucked that bait up so quick. I guess it's just like having a little grape or something, a little appetizer, because we caught a good fish a while ago on a brim that wasn't an inch long. So
wow.
No, they can't be too small. They can be too big if you can't get your hand around them.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you what, the ones that you had.
Guys, number 2's coming in.
Number 2. I'm keeping tally here.
Hey, I witnessed something yesterday. I was over at Bayou Outdoors. They have the hog trough tank there, and they brought in some copper-nosed brim from one of the lake, and they put them in the tank, and some of the brim got sick. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it was. And there was a couple of them fluttering. I mean, you could tell they were dying in the tank. Mm-hmm. And you just expected these bass to inhale them any minute. And they would run up to them and look at them as they would kind of flutter down and then rise back up. And it dawned on me, there's a big difference in a bait fish being injured and being sick. Huh. They would not eat the sick brim.
Wow.
But if they were injured, and fluttering around, they would chomp them.
Well, I would.
Wow.
So, I mean, they can actually sense that that's something wrong with that. They don't want to put it in their belly.
Huh.
Unlike me.
They didn't know what to think in that tank full of bass. They were probably just trying to fake it.
Now, Johnny, I know you probably haven't put pencil to paper and figured out any kind of a pattern on this, but the regular old mason brim, like what we call the stump knockers, the real colorful brim. I guess that red perch.
The sunfish,
Sunfish.
Yeah.
You've got those in Lake Fork. You've got bluegill. You've got the red ears. Do they hit any particular species of the brim better than another?
I do like the little red ear. I mean, the red perch, they're a little more frisky and a little more active, I think. But, no, it really doesn't matter. It just on how active that perch is. And I like to get bit the 10 minutes, so I go down, or I pretty much change out the bait. But I tell you, they'll hit just about any color, any size. I was telling the guys this morning, don't get hung up on colors when you fish plastic baits, whether it's got black and blue or chartreuse. It's either brim colored or shad colored. As long as you're those, there's so many different hues of the bluegill. It doesn't have to be that critical, other than for your confidence, you know.
That's
right,
that. Amen. I don't think you could have spoken that any better.
Yeah.
All right, brother, give us.
There's a nice 6-pounder, the young man. How old are you, son? 11 years old. He got him a 6-pounder. Come on and get you one.
Man,
You just love that.
I'm telling you, my daughter cannot wait. She is so excited about this trip.
We had 44 day before yesterday, and yesterday we had 18. But that 44, I had 4 guys that had worked together all their life. They were retired, and did they ever have a ball or what? Now, one guy has rented this whole back left side of this boat because that's where all the fish were caught. He must have had half of it. He would not give it. Oh, there's the third one. Come on in with it.
Hey, Johnny, how much rain did you get?
We got a little bit at night. It kind of, as usual, it splits and goes around us here, and we didn't get enough. That's
Too much concrete.
Yeah,
we're
too much
expecting
concrete.
some more. We're expecting some more tomorrow. I do have tomorrow off, thank goodness, so I hope it rains all day, but another good fish.
Johnny Geis Fishing Guide on Facebook. If you ever just want to check us up and see what Johnny and the customers are catching, man, you do an incredible job of getting all those pictures up there. Everybody's able to see exactly what's going on, and it puts the proof to the pudding of what you're saying. I mean, you're not just saying this on the radio. You're putting pictures with it that we can all see just how big these fish are that are coming in the boat with such regularity.
Johnny, I got a new idea for a radio show.
What's that?
Well, you doing the commentary while people catching fish.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, you got a new career started. You don't even realize it.
I told these guys they're up to 3 now. We only got about 3 minutes, but I didn't really get them to the best hole because we just run out of time. But as soon as we wrap this show up, in 5 minutes we'll be at the next hole, and I promise you we'll have 6 and 10 minutes because they're ready then.
Now, with these young guys like that, have you found that are ladies equally as good at this? I mean, or do they? Because these fish are horses at times. I mean, do you find that it takes a man's strength to be able to bring them in, or?
Let me tell you, the ladies catch them twice as good as the guys do as far as the hook set because they just start reeling.
Yeah.
And you know, because when you guys came, you're always setting the hook too hard. You're setting it too quick. And it's nothing more than let your rod load up, start reeling them in, and then put enough pressure on them. And what the ladies do, they get excited when it starts pulling back, and then they accidentally rear back. I guarantee they're probably 75% on their hookup ratio, where us bass fishermen, we're good for 50% up to noon till we learn how to do it, and then they get good.
Well, Gary and I are big time fishermen. I mean, we're
not your average bear.
We're not the run of the mill, no.
Well, let me bet that the 3 lady demons will beat you, Mr. Graff.
That's like a challenge now.
I can't believe you're even going to fish.
I may not. I'm hoping they're catching so many. And I'm serious. I hope they're catching so many. I got to help Johnny bait and take off. That's what I'm hoping.
LakeForkBigFish.com. Check that out. Johnny Geis Fishing Guide. Check out his Facebook page. And give us that phone number one more time, Johnny.
Phone number is 972-800-3882. And look at the Facebook page tonight. I'm going to have these young guys holding up the fish and see how much fun they're having.
Fantastic.
All right.
Johnny Geis.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you Monday, Johnny.
Yes, sir. See you Monday.
Okay, your prediction was right. Weather had him a little bit off today. But, if he had been on the next hole, he thinks he could have topped it.
Wait a minute, we got 4. Nope. No.
Yeah. See, and that was not a negative towards Johnny.
No, it's the
happen.
weather.
I mean, yeah, the weather, the front came through. I went to Caddo Lake yesterday, got up there about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I only went because it stayed cloudy. And when I got up there, the wind was already out of the north.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they did. I didn't catch but 3 fish yesterday.
I went to Red River from 2 to 6. Had 1 bite.
I still believe that when the weather changes, whether you get that south wind in the winter, you get a north wind in the summer, whatever, either one will make for bad fishing conditions. And a lot of people, it's February, man. It's warmed up to 85 today. We ought to kill them. And you don't. It's because the fish aren't positioned for that type of wind.
Yep.
More on the way. We're going to be speaking with Hunter Mulligan.
Yeah, we got Hunter coming back on.
He's going to tell you, if you're thinking about getting into a new hunting lease, these are some things you really need to consider before you pay the money. That's next. Hooking Up and Tracking Down. 11:30, The Tiger.
Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as trap, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecore Bridge. Too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, and your heating and air conditioning system is burning holes in your paycheck? You need to call Luke at Guy Heating and Air.
Legendary quality. At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truted transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter fisherman could want. Top name brands, Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
Hooking Up and Tracking Down is on 11:30 The Tiger. This segment presented by Toledo Bend Lake Country, Commercial Power Equipment, Ranger Boats, and Bob Seeley Outdoors, home of the $1 million Big Bass Splash. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us this morning. It's Hooking Up and Tracking Down. Gary McCoy in the studio with Mike Eccles and the Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff. And on the phone, one of our field experts, one of my favorite people to get to talk to, because there's probably not a more knowledgeable person in Northwest Louisiana.
I beg your pardon.
In regards to the woods and the timber and deer and
I beg your pardon.
Habitat. Yeah, it ain't you, buddy. It ain't you. I'm just Hunter Mulligan. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Gary, what's going on, man? You doing all right?
Yes, sir, I am. In fact, I've been waiting to talk to you because, doing all that you do for, a lot of the different timber companies and things like that, you run across all kinds of rules and regulations that some of the timber companies might have that others don't, or areas where, they've got particular problems with a group that's leasing that land to hunt on, and there's just all kinds of ins and outs, and a lot of people right now are trying to make that final decision about whether or not they want to join this club or that club, or do they just want to go hunt bodcall or Kisatchie and just stay on public grounds? And
that's an important consideration. The guys you have out there, and you got groups that get along. Some do, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all a matter of preference. These big leases, Gary, will have 30 or 40 people on or more. Just to cut the cost down. So, you got to have a kind of a camaraderie there that kind of everybody gets along, have a system to hunt the stand and all things like that. But it's a lot to consider.
Hunter, what's the going rate per acre?
That's exactly what I was going to ask, because we just got an increase on ours.
Yeah, what's the going rate per acre?
I'm thinking average, Graff, you're going to be around $5 or $6.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that about right?
$5 or $6 an acre.
That sounds about right.
And they've promised us with the timber company that we're with, Willamette, that we are going to see, I think, a 3% per annum increase I guess, infinitely.
Yeah, well, that's probably right, because actually that's Weyerhaeuser. I wish it
Weyerhaeuser, that's who it was. That's who it is.
But anyway, they do. It's just with the way these companies are run now with the accountants, if something's not returning value to the shareholder, then they do away with it. Of course, leasing is pretty big buck, but at the same time, it's a lot of exposure to liability. So those lease contracts are pretty extensive in some cases,
Hey, Hunter, Gary brought up a point that I didn't know. It surprises me I didn't know it. But is there a difference in the timber companies? I would have figured timber companies across the board had the same set of rules for their hunting leases, but are there a difference between Weyerhaeuser and International and stuff like that as far rules that affect the hunters themselves?
There's not going to be a whole lot of difference,
So I was right.
No. Some will not allow dog hunting, like Weyerhaeuser is going to that, and some do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what. And I was going to say that. I mean, some's going to allow you to run dogs, some not, for a lot of reasons, but mainly it's liability and exposure and all that. Because you like to say these accountants run these companies now, and I mean they look at all that stuff, and if it's something that could give them a problem down the road, hey, they're not going to do it.
That's one of the things that you need to consider is the standing that the lease that the club you're thinking about getting into, the standing that they've got with that particular timber company or management company. Because if they're on their last leg, you certainly don't want to go in there and spend $400 a deer stand, putting up 2 or 3 new stands just to find out that this was their last year, that they're on their way out.
Yeah,
that's correct. And, they've gotten away, too. Used to, these bigger companies would have a couple of biologists, kind of monitor everything. But, again, they don't see any return to the shareholder on paying a biologist, so a lot of that's kind of gone away. So you don't keep up the records and all kind of stuff now. It's kind of, they try to get a good group of guys there. And every lease will pretty much have a contact person or two that has to speak for the club. You see, a president or a vice president or whatever. And, that's kind of their spokesperson with contact numbers and everything like that. And, they have a problem. That's who they're going to go to first.
Now, Hunter, when you join one of these clubs, and especially if it's a paper company, or really if it's a private landowner, my father-in-law, they have timber management practices. Can you sit down with those people, whoever the owner is or managing the company, the paper company, can you sit down with those people and get their management plan? And, hey, we're looking to thin this, we're looking to cut it on such a date. Will they work with you on that? They give you that plan?
Well, they're going to have a budget set up every year in a harvesting schedule graph, on what they're going to do. And, hey, if the weather allows, they're going to stick with that budget or cutting schedule. And, a lot of times the district forester or whoever's in charge will give you a heads up to lease, hey, we're going to cut this block this year, this and that, whatever. But I always remember, if you got a hunting lease that's on some good ground with good access and, some sand and some iron ore, when it gets wet, hey, they're coming. So they need stuff at the mill. So, I mean, that's just part of it. Now, if you got a lease with a hardwood bottom, and which that's what everybody probably would like, a big bottom or some ridges and stuff, hey, they're pretty much going to stick to summertime stuff. So, you're kind of vulnerable there from December to, the end of January, maybe November, depending on how wet it gets. Because, like I say, if they've got good ground on the track, sand, iron ore, or good access, and they need timber to cut, hey, they're not worried about the hunt. They're going to cut the timber.
Well, hats off to the timber companies for even leasing it to us to begin with, because what we provide as hunters to them is just a drop in the bucket to what they're in business to cut timber. Period.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've given us access to that land and exposed themselves to all kinds of liability.
But where did that change, Hunter? Where did that change? When I first came to Louisiana, you hunted paper company land for free.
They found out they could get some money for it.
Was it all about $1? Is that what it was about, Hunter?
It's a lot about the dollar, Steve, but it's also a lot about public image and PR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They want to get along with the community because, look, when they first started leasing, if you remember, they had lots of fires. And local people couldn't lease. Well, I've been hunting there 20 years, 30 years. I've been going there all my life. Well, hey, that changes. And, hey, a lot of them, hey, they're burn plantations. I mean, you get a good windy day in October when it's dry, instead of fire in the right place, you can destroy some ground.
Well, I tell you, something else that changes is a public attitude about getting hurt on somebody's property.
Yeah.
30, 40 years ago, you got hurt on somebody's property, it was your fault.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then it changed. Well, it's not. So the timber companies, I'm assuming, had to go in there and come up with some form of control about who was on their property and who was responsible for what, just because of
frivolous lawsuits.
Yeah, right.
Well, like when you fell out of the boat yesterday, was you going to sue the boat company?
I was going to sue anybody that I could have found if I could have got my big fat butt up in time to call a lawyer.
I had to throw that in, Hunter. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, Hunter.
I hear you. It happens.
Graf has put together a great list of some things for us to consider.
Okay.
The distance away from the house, and one of the things that you got to consider, sometimes it's too close to the house. You want it a little further away.
Yep.
The cost, which pretty standard if you're dealing with the timber companies, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is, and actually some of these companies bid that stuff off. Some of the companies have actually bid some of these leases off. Hey, high man gets the track.
Okay, now this is one that Graf's got on here that I know you can help us to find an answer for. Do they have a good population of deer? And when you go to the club and you start, oh yeah, we got them everywhere. There's deer.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you find a real answer to that question?
Well, you could. Really, I mean, it's going to be a word of mouth with the guys. It's like if you join a club, I mean, those guys are going to, of course, they want you to join and get your money too, but you're going to be able to tell from what they tell you, and you can look at their records, and they may keep some records of what they kill. But, as far as getting a survey done and all that kind of stuff, I don't think those guys do that. Now, the companies used to do that when they had biologists. They'd do surveys, and they'd have a, buck-doe ratio for every track.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to kind of be word of mouth. I mean, you don't have to go out and inspect the track. I mean, you go out there and see a lot of tracks because there's a lot of deer, probably. But, I mean, I always figure when I go out there, if there's a lot of tracks, a lot of deer flies, there's a lot of deer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, deer flies will get you this time of year. But anyway, I'm going to look at, streams and stuff like that. And, I wouldn't want to lease with a bunch of pine plantation myself. I mean, that's strictly pretty much cover and bedding area stuff. Like, I'm not saying the deer go in there, but, I'd want a good track with some good habitat diversity, hardwood and pine mixed together, some topography, some ridges, some draws, places like that. So.
I always just slipped in there a couple times at night. And, that give me an idea whether I wanted to really join the club or not.
Yeah, you could.
Hunter, you got to promise us that we can continue this next week because this is way too much for us to be able to cover in just one segment.
Next segment.
Okay.
Yeah,
we get you to hang on?
Yeah, we'll carry him over.
Just stick with us just a little bit more. More with Hunter Mulliken. Some of the things you're going to want to consider if you're thinking about joining a new hunting club. That's next. Hooking up and tracking down. 11:30. The Tiger.
Can't wait to watch you do your thing. Shake it for the young.
Looking for a place to get away from it all? Look no further than Red River's Midway Marina in St. Maurice. Owners John and Kemp Nelson invite you to stop by for lunch or come in and rent one of several cabins for the weekend. RV hookups, and a nice boat ramp that leads to some of the best skiing and fishing on Red River. Fully stocked bait and tackle store with gas pumps on and off the water. So book your next trip online, midwaymarinastmaurice.com, or call 318-646-0097. Natchitoches, Louisiana is known for its rich history, and when you talk car buying, Natchitoches Ford has the distinction of selling the very first Ford automobiles in Louisiana. That means they have been satisfying customers for a long time. Friendly people who will make sure you have a great car buying experience. Their no high pressure and hassle-free sales staff will do their best to offer you the best service possible when buying that new car or truck. Family owned and operated, Calvin Braxton Sr. and Jr. want to invite you to stop by and see the guys who started it all in Louisiana car buying at Natchitoches Ford Lincoln, just off the Highway 1 bypass in Natchitoches, or call them at 318-352-3677.
Rick Terrell here for Terrell Brothers Furniture in Natchitoches, where we've got 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. You heard right, 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. And we've got over 20 groups to choose from. So before you buy living room furniture anywhere, come to Terrell Brothers Furniture, 310 Texas Street in Natchitoches.
Did you notice some brands sending out trophies from 2006 at boat shows this year? Really? It's like wearing your high school letterman jacket to a job interview when you're 30. But if other brands are going to raise the issue of awards, no matter how old they may be, we're happy to join the conversation. When it comes to awards, Sea Ray is in a class all its own. Sea Ray is the most awarded boat brand ever. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter has yours waiting for you. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter is Louisiana's family-owned RV and marine dealer.
This is Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Santone Lures, the Red River Waterway, and Vicious Fishing Line. Get vicious with the fishes. Now back to the guys who set the standard in outdoor radio, just not very high. Steve Graff, Gary McCoy, and Mike Eckel.
You know, for all your farm and garden supplies, go see Paul's Farm and Garden on North Market in Shreveport. Paul and his knowledgeable staff will answer all your gardening questions and make sure you have what you need to grow an awesome garden or that summer food plot for old Mr. Buck. That's Paul's Farm and Garden, a proud dealer of Purina products. Give them a call at 425-2222. And I just left up there. I went up there to buy some dog food. And Paul told me that August the 14th, they're having their wildlife seminar up there, and what that's going to do, you can go up. I'm sure he's going to feed everybody ribeye steaks and stuff. Maybe not, but they're going to have people from wildlife and fisheries. They're going to have biologists, and they're going to have people from the feed and seed companies come in and give talks and seminars on what to plant, how to plant it, how to tend to it. They're going to have a bunch of door prizes. They give away deer stands, cameras, corn, a lot of stuff, rice bran. And that's August the 14th at Paul's Farm and Garden up on North Market, their wildlife seminar. And we're not but about 6 to 8 weeks out of when we need to start planting food plots.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's perfect timing.
I got to get by there. And I got another question for him. And Hunter, you might even know the answer to this one. Hunter Mulliken is on the phone. He's our man of the field as far as anything woods-related, deer, any of that kind of issue. But Hunter, you might know it. Is it true you can't plant a hot pepper next to like a bell pepper because the hot pepper will lose the heat?
I don't know, Gary. I hadn't heard that before.
I've always heard don't plant your jalapenos anywhere near your bell peppers or your jalapenos won't be hot.
I haven't heard that.
Okay, we got to find out from Paul.
It sucks the hot out of them.
That's what I heard. Okay. All right, we're talking hunting leases with Hunter Mulliken. And Hunter, one of the biggest issues that you'll find as you enter a new club is finding a good spot to hunt on that lease that is available to a potential new member. You know, it's like, boy, there's a great spot right there. You know, we've got a little old Pin Oak Flat, and you're coming up on a great pine ridge right there, and then the pipeline comes. Oh yeah, well Joe Bob's got to stay in there. You can't hunt there, and then you find another. You can't hunt there.
Yeah.
How would you tell a man to go survey that place? I mean, do you got to walk it out, or?
Yeah, you're going to have to get on the ground, Gary. That's the only way you can do it. I mean, you can't take an aerial photograph and do that. You just, best thing to do is get one of the members or a member and just get your four-wheeler or rhino or whatever and make a round out there and check it out. See what you got. See the lay of the land. You know, ask how they pick stand. You know, y'all draw, or do you have numbers you go by? Some people have a system set up at the gate. When you come in every morning, they draw a tag or they, you know, something like that. I mean, they got several ways to do it. And of course, they got horn restrictions too. You can't get anything that's less than 13. You know, they have some inside rules they do for shooting bucks. If you kill a buck, you got to mount it. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, you know, when you do that. But, yeah, I mean, you go to put a stand up. Well, I got a stand over here, you know, 175 yards. I don't want you to put that there. That's what you're going into. And when you get a lot of people on a lease, that's the problem you have.
Well, here's the other problem. It's number 6 on my list here, Hunter. Total huntable acreage. You know, you can have 500 acres. If 300 is in pine plantation, well, that don't leave a whole lot of acreage left for 1,400. So
it doesn't.
So that's one thing to consider: total huntable acreage, not just how many acres.
Well, and too, Graff, like I say, you might have 80 acres in an ideal place that would support 2 or 3 people. I mean, you can only hunt so many acres at a time, but, you know, maybe the deer's passing through. But like you said, you know, you get on a lease. I mean, sometimes you ain't got a choice. You got to get 200 acres of hardwood bottom. You got to get 300 or 400 acres of pine plantation. You know, and then it squeezes everybody in. You follow me?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So you end up having to, you know, hunt corridors or something in the pine plantation. I'm not saying you can't kill deer there. I mean, when the deer rut and stuff, they're going to do things they normally don't do. But I mean, you know, it's just something to think about. If you got a bunch of people that's kind of squeezed into one spot, you better think about that. And also, too, when you're leasing, if you lease next to the government, if you're going to lease private to a company land that joins the government track or something, you're always going to have a problem there because people are going to hunt the government. They're going to be right on your line. You see where I'm going with that.
Sure, yeah.
They can hunt it. They run up down the fire lane, you know, and all that stuff, and that's what you run into. So consider that. I mean, you know, if you got a bunch of stuff leased next to the government, you can have problems.
You brought up essentially a minute ago the club rules, the philosophy of the club, things like that. My lease, we don't have anything hard and fast in regards to horn restrictions, but we all try to adhere to a 6-point minimum. We want to make sure that now when it comes to the kids. We'll pretty much allow the kids to shoot whatever they'd like to. We ask them not to shoot, a little spike or a button buck or something along those lines. But, on occasion, the best hunter out there is going to think he's taking a doe, which we do preach is one of the ways to keep that lease alive. And you're going to shoot a little button buck. It is going to happen. But do you see that there are times when the club rules are just too strict, and all of a sudden it's like it's not fun to hunt here because I don't know if that deer was 15 inches or 17 inches.
Yeah, how many times I've heard people say that they got too many rules and regulations on the club. I'm trying to find me 300 acres of hardwood. Like I told Kraft the other day, a guy he said I just want about 300 acres of good hardwood, about 30 minutes from Natchitoches.
Oh, yeah. Good luck on that, brother.
Yeah. You better turn that over to Santa Claus because I can't help it. So, you know what I'm saying? It's, people get out of clubs because of that. And, sometimes the clubs get too big. At the same time, some clubs have a lot of people that pay and never hunt. So, you kind of got to get out there and see what happens. It may cost you 1 year to see how it goes or two and see how you like it. But the more people, you
that's
can have more
a good point, though, Hunter just brought up. There's a lot of people that are in the club. They may only hunt Thanksgiving Day, or they only hunt 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
But that's not a guy that's going to put a lot of pressure on the place.
Some people get on clubs. It's just a turkey hunt. If they got a big place and they're just they're not deer hunting, they just get on there to turkey hunt. Like I got on a lease this year. I'm going to turkey hunt there. I may not deer hunt there. I may deer hunt a little bit. There's some good deer down there, but it's a big place, and I just turkey hunt.
Hunter, how would you find out about available hunting leases?
Well, you call a lot of people call me, call your foresters for these companies, different companies around, Martin Timber Company, Weyerhaeuser, Hancock, IP. You just call their office and ask them. They'll have somebody that'll be in charge of the leases. Okay, a district forester or somebody will be in charge of the leases, and they'll tell you, what's available and what's not. And usually that, starts leasing April 1st and usually probably to the end of June, sometimes July, because they've got to get all that stuff in place because they don't want a bunch of bickering going on in August, when September is about to be here and, everybody's trying to, draw the line, draw the line in the sand where they're going to hunt.
Right.
So they like to get all that done, get their money in and all that. And, hey, if you hadn't paid your money by a certain date, well, hey, it comes to the next guy. And believe me, they're waiting lists for some of these leases.
Oh, you bet. Ours is June 30th.
Hunter, what would constitute somebody losing a lease, and say, timber company says, we didn't like what y'all did. What would... Give me some ideas.
Cut down a couple of pine trees. See how fast you go.
That would be one.
That's a no-no. Now, you can actually prune the limbs off. Most of them not going to say anything about pruning, shut them down a fire lane or a shooting lane. But you get out there and violate game laws and shoot at night like Mike was doing. He said he was doing earlier.
Yeah. Well, he has a hard time staying on a lease like that.
You have a hard time.
I'm not on it legally.
If you violate game laws, or you get out there and tear the roads up, or something like that, or you violate it's going to stipulate pretty much in the lease where you can camp and where you can set up, trailers or whatever. Most of them not going to let you pour a slab. They'll let you set up a trailer or something like that, but you're not going to make a permanent deal, and then you pay extra for that. Here's a designated.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do. So some of them charge you for that.
And with ours, let's say that they decide to clear cut an area, and they've clear cut it, and they'll let us know, hey, we're going to replant this, in the spring. If you want to go in, you can pay them per annum for them to not plant, this 10 acres right here. But it costs you every year. I want this 10 acres to be left open, or this 5 acres, whatever the case might be, so that you can plant a big grass patch or whatever the case might be. They're really accommodating of that, but you got to understand they're losing money. They're not growing trees on that.
Right, so exactly.
They've got to return to the shareholder that exactly. increase.
Right.
Well, they got when they site prep, when they clear cut a tract, Gary, take it down. It's $350 an acre to get it back in production.
Wow.
So that's a lot, and that's not even counting fertilizing and whatever. They do a lot of that now.
Yeah, you got to get all those planters back across the border. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of costs there involved, but it's good that they do it, like you said earlier, but that you can do. But the least people got to realize, hey, they just got the right to be out there and hunt. They can't control anything that goes on with the timber management and or
related, you know.
And that's got to be the biggest headache for them is when they've got a lease that it, you know, the neighbors around there, the private landowners around that particular tract of land are constantly calling, you know, we've got an issue here, there's a fire, there's this, there's that. There comes a point where you're just not worth the trouble.
Right, and most companies would rather lease to local people because you have a lot of people in South Louisiana coming up wanting to hunt. And boy, they get up here and, you know, they hunt. Now, they're out there. They stay there. They come up here year-round, and, you know, they've had lots of problems. I'm not saying people in South Louisiana are bad, but, you know, when they come up here to hunt, they hunt. And, I mean, you know, so the companies here would rather lease to local people just to, you know, as far as PR and all that kind of stuff. And like I say, when it first started years ago, man, they had multiple fires. And that's one way that locals get back at them, and that's not the thing to do, but, you know,
Hunter,
it does happen.
Hunter, before you get off the phone, are we seeing any good sign? Are we going to have a good year? Is it going to be a off year?
Yeah, I mean, I always check this post oak here at my house, and, you know, at the office we got a big white oak. Hey, the acre's about as big as the English pea right now. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good crop on them. I saw some trees this morning in the woods. I was on a logging job, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty good crop of acorns this year. Been seeing lots of fawns, you know, running around. Two was in front of my truck that day. Went down the road with me about 100 yards before they jumped in the woods. They had a dust trail going on, man. They were two twins.
They were probably a little confused this morning. They woke up and it was freaking. They probably getting ready to rut this morning.
Yeah, you're right. We should have been squirrel hunting, seal hunting this morning.
You know, Steve did a great job of putting these 11 things together to pick a lease. But I'm gonna tell you what I think. The most important single thing is if you go into a lease, you look at their management program.
Yeah.
I think if you do that, that will tell you a lot about
the mentality of the lease.
what they've got on the property.
Right.
And the type of people you're going to be dealing with.
Sure.
If you all think the same, if you don't agree with their management program,
well, that's where philosophy.
You only want to kill a big deer, and they're killing everything, or the other way around. You want to fill the freezer. You know, that can rule it out quick. You know, whether you want to even investigate further. Do you agree with the management program on this lease?
Yeah.
I think that if you do that, that's your first step. Tells you whether to investigate further, try to get on it, or find someplace else.
Right.
That's right, and that's a big thing. It's an important point there, Mike, and it does make a difference, no doubt.
Hunter, as always,
man.
As always, you've taken it over the center field fence, brother.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me, and enjoy listening to y'all. A lot of times I don't get to, but sometimes I do. And
that's just when Graf's talking. You're not listening.
No, Hunter he works for a living.
I look, Graf. I mean, I'm out here in the woods. I'm paying attention to these trees. I'm not looking for deer sign. You know me better than that.
Yeah, I know. All right, dog.
He just walked past an old shed if it was there, just laying, 16-point shed laying on the ground. You wouldn't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah. No. I was kind of even. I've seen some old scrapes from last year. I've been checking to see what's going on around there because them deer ain't gonna be long before they'll start rubbing those little bushes. It's not gonna be long.
Yeah. And this morning, Hunter's neck started swelling up.
Yeah. All right, dog. Thank you, man.
All right, y'all be careful.
All right.
Later. All right. Bye-bye.
Hunter Mulliken, thanks again. As always, some really great information. You know what? We got to get this posted on our Facebook page and on the website, hutd.net. 11 great things to consider before joining a hunting club. Yeah. If it's on your mind, you really ought to read these and take them to heart. Like Mike said, if your idea of the management practice doesn't G-haul with theirs, probably not going to be a good fit.
They're not going to fit in.
Hooking up and tracking down, 11:30, the Tiger.
Hello, I'm Troy Umbehagen. We at Natchitoches Nursing and Rehabilitation proudly support and watch TV17's local programming.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452.
You're watching KNTS Digital 19 in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
Legendary quality. At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truted transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
We love it. It's exciting.
Esto es vida. We wear it to be safe.
We're teaching our kids about safe boating.
We all love this life.
Wear it and love the life. This message brought to you by the National Safe Boating Council.
Too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, and your heating and air conditioning system is burning holes in your paycheck? You need to call Luke at Guy Heating and Air. Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as trap, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecore Bridge.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by the Outdoor Channel's The Preferts, Spro Lures, BioBore Fuel Treatment, and Natchitoches Ford. Once again, here's Steve, Gary, and Mike.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us. And on the phone, Nate Prefert from the Preferts. Nate, we were just talking to Hunter Mulliken a minute ago about hunting leases and stuff like that. Do you guys have y'all ever been in a hunting lease where it was just like, there's too many rules, there's too much stuff here, we're just not going to take part in this anymore?
No, none of us have ever even been involved in a hunting lease, but I've had plenty of friends that have done that, and it works out sometimes and it don't sometimes.
When y'all go off and you're shooting some of the shows and stuff like that, and you run across a lot of these different, game management areas and ranches and things of that nature, have you ever come across a place that's like, wow, there's no way that I'll ever come back to this place because of the rules and stuff like that? This ain't even fun.
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't guess. No, the only one I ever went on that I probably won't never go do again is alligator hunt. But that was because I think there was too many people involved.
I hooked the alligator yesterday with a jig.
Did you really?
Yeah, he was coming up to the boat and he got it within about 10 yards of me, and he was coming at me, and he was about probably 6 foot long. And I said, and I'm in a canal, and the canal's about as wide as the boat, so I don't need him crawling in my boat. So I flipped that jig out there in front of him. He came and got that jig, and I had a little alligator on for about probably 3 or 4 minutes before I finally got the hook out of him. And I was like, man, I don't need him in my boat. I started cutting my line, but I fought him off eventually.
Tightwad, you didn't want to give up the jig. You got him 3. Yeah. You took a chance of losing a finger over a 3 jig.
Right, but I had to call Mount Pleasant at Santone and get them to send me a whole new jig. And
you got one bite yesterday. It didn't matter what you were throwing.
Well, it was the bite I got.
Back to Nate Prefert.
Nate, are y'all hog hunting right now?
No, we haven't really had any hogs in our areas that we hunt right now. It's been kind of weird this year.
Hey, and I watched this past week's episode of the Preferts.
Yeah,
they were turkey hunting.
Yeah,
great show, by the way, Nate. That was a good program. Y'all did a great job with that.
Thanks. Yeah. In spite of having probably half of the footage stolen,
How do you get your footage stolen?
Travis the truck was parked in the hotel parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody broke into the truck and stole all the.
Really?
And they had the camera. Yeah, they just went into the hotel and were having a meeting with some guys, and they were in there for about an hour. When they came back, the windows were busted out, and a lot of the camera gear and which involved the footage that they had taken during the hunt had just gotten stolen. So they really had to hump up and get a bunch of footage the next couple of days.
Wow.
Wow. Ain't that sad? That is sad.
And you know, we had a bass angler get killed earlier this year. His boat got broken into. Remember that?
In Mississippi.
In Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
Man, you know, it's a strange world we live in right now.
Concealed carry permit.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Bossier Sheriff's got another class coming up this Saturday. Need to get registered for that. Okay, and Nate, now being an East Texas boy, you know, you guys are not eons deep into turkey hunting. I mean, how long have you been out doing that kind of hunt?
Well, Eddie and Travis, they've been turkey hunting for probably 4 or 5 years now, and I have yet to ever go on a turkey hunt.
You're not invited.
Well, they left him at home.
No,
they was doing food plots.
They don't want him to go.
Yeah, I was doing food plots.
Yeah, they had him on TV on the show. Eddie's back home.
He's
Nate's
plowing.
back home doing food
He's bush
plots.
hogging and plowing.
Yeah, and they're out hunting. He's like, boy, there's something wrong with this picture.
And then they say I'm invited, but you know what? They only had 2 spots to go. So guess
okay, one of them deals.
Hey, Nate, you said a while ago you don't have a lot of hogs on your property. I've talked to 2 or 3 people that have said, we haven't seen any hogs, we haven't seen any sign. Now, I know we're not out in the woods like we normally are. And I also know that we're not feeding the animals. We're not putting corn out yet, the majority of people.
Right.
But and I also know that we have not put a dent in the population.
No,
but
I know it.
Have the hogs maybe migrated north to a degree, or are they still here? We're not seeing them for some other reason.
I think they're still here and they're breeding like rabbits. But you know, we've had a lot of water through the spring, and then so we've had a lot of grass and stuff for them to eat. And if you'll watch a hog this time, or the only one I've seen was about a month ago, and you know what he was doing? He was eating the tops out of ryegrass.
Wow.
So they're not having to root. They got so much to eat that they're not having to root for anything. They're just eating the tops of the grass, and all they have to do is stay close to water. And there's plenty of mud holes everywhere right now, so they're not having to travel. And it's been a really good year. So it's been a good year for everybody's hay crops and everything. And nobody's really getting their hay meadows rooted up right now that I've heard of, you know, in our area.
Right across from my house, I used to lease it. There was 2 sections in there, 640 acres in there, and we used to lease that. And I would see all kinds of different hogs in there. I saw your classic little old brown with the little lines, the little stripes on the side of them.
Look like watermelon.
Yeah, I've seen those classic kind of hogs like that. But then on occasion, you see a great big old white one or one of the black boars and stuff like that. Are these different breeds, or are they all the same breed, they're just different colors?
Are y'all asking me this question?
Well, of course I am. I mean, you're Nate Preifert, dude.
Yeah. Well, there's different types. I mean, there's your feral hogs, and then there's that Russian influence that got mixed in.
I got you.
And so I don't know of anybody that's turned any like Russian type boars loose in the years.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you turn just a regular pigs loose, just what we call feral pigs.
Yeah, domestic pigs.
The domesticated pigs, they'll through their breeding cycles, they'll start adapting to the terrain.
Hey, I've heard they'll even start growing tusks and everything.
Yeah, they'll turn
wild. Yeah, they do. And but the white ones, they're just coming from that feral
gene pool.
Gene pool that's from years back. Now we've got a place we hunt, and we'll see a bunch of, they'll be white with black spots all over them, you know, and everybody wants to kill the spotted pig. That's like killing the white buffalo, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Where do if you're bow hunting, where do you shoot a hog? I mean, how far back do you have to get off the shoulder before you can get a real good connect?
I would say, you know, you kind of want to lung them back there, you know, so pretty much behind the shoulder, and you want to drive that sucker as far through as you can. Now, I've seen, we had some footage that was on last season's show where Jordan I don't know if y'all saw that one, but blonde-headed girl, man, she whacks this sow at probably about 30 yards and hits her right in the front of the shoulder, and it went. And, you know, the arrow, it just looked like it barely stuck it, and the hog just falls over dead. It's like he just blew her over. So I don't know. You know, most of them guys, I'm not a real good bow shot anyway, as you saw from the first episode this season. But
yeah, we remember that one.
yeah, most of your good guys that are really wanting to kill that pig quick or wanting to blow that arrow through the lungs and maybe catch part of the heart. But you know, I know they're tough, and I wouldn't want to aim at one in the shoulder just for fear it ain't going to go all the way through that bone.
Have you done much deer stalking?
I used to when I was younger, but I ain't going to say, well, I'm going to say, yeah, when I was younger, before I was, I'd say I was 14, 15 years old and really didn't have, I was doing other things. I didn't take the time to build a tree stand or something. I'd sit on a trail, where I knew there was deer coming through there.
That's difficult to do, just to actually go out and stalk a deer.
That's the truest form of whitetail hunting, though.
Oh, yeah.
Stalking a deer.
Yeah.
Try that on a hunting lease sometime. See if you don't
get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try. Yeah.
Have y'all ever done that? Like you'd be squirrel hunting or something, and you're looking in the trees, and all of a sudden you run up, and there might be deer, 20, 30 yards in front of you.
I've had them jump like that from behind.
Yeah, but have you ever noticed that like if you keep walking towards them, they'll run off, but you'll walk up through there like squirrel hunting. Maybe you go 2 or 300 yards, and then you turn around and go back. You'll run into those same deer going back, most likely.
Yeah.
Them deer will just make a circle. They'll kind of just make a circle and go behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned that from running dogs.
And hunting mule deer is a lot different than whitetail. That's the traditional way to shoot a mule deer.
Yeah.
Well, what's coming up on the show in the coming weeks, Nate? What do we got to look forward to?
Oh man, it's black powder hunting. I think is the next show.
Yeah,
and I may get off a little bit.
No, I think that's right.
Yeah, the black powder, and then I'll be, during the show I'll be stuck at home again probably because I didn't get to get invited on that one either.
Are you redheaded?
No, yeah.
Are you sure you're not adopted?
They just say I don't like to leave the house, but you're right. I don't like to leave the house, but I will for hunting. And I got my favorite spots I like to go. And later this season I'll be in Montana, and I've got a pretty nice mule deer up there, and then definitely the New Zealand trip. Just it'll be coming up. It'll be probably the last 3 shows this season.
I really like the new intro, Nate. Y'all did a great job of showing what y'all are all about, what you do for a living. I just think it's a great intro, and I like how y'all handled that. That was really a job well done.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what we just kind of wanted to reintroduce ourselves because, the prior season, it's just more been about hunting and stuff. And everybody's told us, they're like, y'all got more of a story than just that. Y'all need to show what y'all really do. So we wanted to really introduce the show by just, no, we don't have to be hunting. We're going to show what we're all about day to day.
Right.
And then hook the people in, and which I hope that helps. They want to kind of follow what we're doing.
All right, Nate, we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, man, for calling in.
Yes,
and
sir.
again, the Preference, folks, it's a new show. Well, it's not it's
the former Backwoods Bloodline.
Former Backwoods Bloodline. It's the Preference of, I think it's airing every Friday, I think at 9:30.
Thursday nights at 9:30 on the Sportsman Channel.
He knew it was one of the days of the week. He wasn't sure.
Well, I think it re-airs again on Friday or
Okay.
Saturday. And but anyway, I record both of them. But anyway, great job. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to one of you guys next month.
All right. Thank you.
Nate Prevost, appreciate it. Stay close now. Northwestern States. Say Johnny's last name.
Leday.
That's what I thought. Johnny Leday, Justin Cooper. I couldn't mess that one up.
Yeah.
Are they there now, or have they just finished up the Bassmaster Collegiate Wild Card?
They finished it up a couple of weeks ago.
So we're going to find out what happened with these guys on the way. Hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
To the truck, then I'm going to get that 30.
some things just stay the same. But not Toledo Town and Tackle, still the best selection of tackle on the bend. Zoom, dive with Gene LaRue and Santone. Now double the size of the original store, you have twice as much to choose from. With a new deli serving the best hamburgers, pizza, and soft drinks, you'll find something that's sure to fill your belly. They also have a great selection of tees and polo-style shirts. So stop in and treat yourself to the best tackle box on the bend. Toledo Town and Tackle on beautiful Toledo Bend Lake. Looking for a place to get away from it all? Look no further than Red River's Midway Marina in St. Maurice. Owners John and Kemp Nelson invite you to stop by for lunch or come in and rent one of several cabins for the weekend. RV hookups and a nice boat ramp that leads to some of the best skiing and fishing on Red River. Fully stocked bait and tackle store with gas pumps on and off the water. So book your next trip online, midwaymarinastmaurice.com or call 318-646-0097.
Hello everybody, Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff with the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. Folks, there's nothing I love more than my Rhino. I've had 3-wheelers, I've had 4-wheelers, but if you want the best of the best, you need to get you a Rhino 700 from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchitoches. My Rhino does more than take me to and from the deer stand. It is a great utility vehicle around your house. You can use it for all kinds of stuff, including yard work. I've got it loaded down right here. But one of the best features of the Rhino, it's got a dump bed right in the back of it. So go see the guys at Honda Yamaha Village of Natchez, Chip, Layton, and the gang over there, and let them show you the new Yamaha 700 series from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchez.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's, and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
This segment of Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger, presented by Cypress Knee Outdoors, Mr. Twister, and Lake Fork guide Johnny Geis, the only guide you'll need at Lake Fork. Back to you, Gary.
Fans, let me tell you something. I know you see me on tour and I wear that old ugly flat bill hat. This has got a little bend. Most of the time I wear them straight ghetto gangster flat bill hats, and I know what you're thinking. What is he doing? Why is he wearing that ugly hat? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The only reason I do it is because my wife hates it. That's right, she hates it. I put it on one day and I made the cut, and she said that hat's possibly the ugliest hat I've ever seen. It's almost birth control. You couldn't get lucky in a women's prison with a handful of $100 bills wearing that hat. Swindle. I said, well, I love it, and I'm not taking it off. So next time you see me wearing an ugly hat, it's because I'm really trying to aggravate my wife.
You couldn't get lucky in a women's prison with a handful of $100 bills. It's birth control.
That guy, he kills me, man.
I got a pair of boots like that.
Gerald Swindle, by the way, folks, if you don't know who that is.
Man. Hooking Up and Tracking Down, it's Gary McCoy along with the Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Mike Eccles in the house again, and on the phone, Johnny Leday, Justin Cooper, Northwestern State's members of the college fishing team there. And you guys just a couple of weeks ago competed in the Bassmaster Collegiate Wildcard Race, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, who do we have, Justin or?
God love him, boy. I mean, he's way too serious for this show.
Who we got, Justin or Johnny?
This is Johnny Leday.
Hey, Johnny, Steve Graff here. Hey, man, just want to congratulate you guys. 11th place finish at 18.5. Looks like on day one. I'm cut off day two. But this was a wild card tournament that took you where? Where do you go from here?
We go to the Bassmaster National Championship in Lake Chatouche Reservoir in Georgia. We fished the Ouachita River not too long ago. I think it was in April. We missed it by 5 ounces the cut there. So it was kind of a tough situation. We caught a lot of fish compared to a lot of other teams, but it just wasn't enough and not the quality fish we needed, even though it didn't take much to even qualify in that tournament. But it's just how it goes, and we were lucky enough to be able to have another shot at it.
Johnny, did y'all catch? Y'all were at Pickwick June the 27th and 28th. Did y'all catch mostly largemouth? Did you have some smallmouth?
We caught
3 smallmouth maybe all trip. It really wasn't ideal situations, and we were fishing on the northern part of the lake, which is actually downriver. But we were fishing more on the northern part, and apparently there hasn't been many smallmouth caught compared to the southern part of the lake.
Now, how far a run did y'all? I fished Pickwick quite a bit, matter of fact, in the past. How far a run did y'all have from Florence?
All the way to Bear Creek, which is probably about a 35-minute run.
Yeah, that's a pretty good little run up there.
Oh, it was a ways. We were on the way back. We were kind of sketching it with the gas on the boat. So
now, being Louisiana boys, when you get up there, was that the first smallmouth you ever caught?
The trip before that, we fished the Boat US tournament about 3 weeks before that, and we only I caught 3 of them that trip, and my partner caught 1. Well, this trip, I didn't catch a single smallmouth, and he was catching the smallmouth.
I'll never forget.
I guess that's how it goes.
I never forget the first time I went up to Bull Shoals, and my partner and I were practicing for a national championship, and I hooked into a smallmouth, went about 3.5 pounds. And it was on 6-pound line on a spinning rod. I had one of those fairy ones in my hand, and the next thing I know, I got a 3.5-pound smallmouth on there. And he said, "What you got?" I said, "I don't know, but I hope we catch a boat full of them."
Hey, my first one was at Pickwick, just north of Pickwick, on Wheeler.
Yeah.
You lock into Wheeler, or Wilston or Wheeler, one of those two. Anyway, I locked up, went in, started fishing boat houses. I was on my own. I was fishing co-angler in the tournament, but anyway, I was pre-fishing on my own, and I threw up on a boathouse with a trick worm, and I hooked a fish, and I thought, this is a 7-8 pounder. He was a 4.5-pound smallmouth. I thought, this is the first one I ever caught. That thing was an incredible fight.
What'd you think about that, Johnny? The first time you catch one.
We were excited about it. We honestly thought we'd catch a lot more just hearing about people talking about it. A lot of the people there are really nice. We met a guy at a gas station the night before. We were both really excited to try to catch a smallmouth, and he was talking about how he caught 25 or 30 the afternoon before. So we thought we were going to go smash them. We went out there, and I was just throwing a jig, and it hit it, and it liked to knock the rod out of my hands, is what I told Justin. The first one I caught was 4 pounds. And it didn't jump like they all say they do. But Justin's the one he caught. He had some that would jump, but the ones I caught would never jump, which was no fun.
Now, is Justin with you, Johnny?
He's right here. Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to get him on for just a second. Is he available? Is he there?
Johnny Today and Justin Cooper from Northwestern State University there in Natchitoches recently competed in the Carhart College BASS Wild Card on Pickwick last weekend of June. And Justin, when you guys set out, did you pattern? Were you trying to catch exclusively largemouth, or did it matter?
Oh yes, sir. We want to target largemouth just because they get larger. Most of the time you're gonna have a better sack if you target largemouth. So, if we caught a few good smallmouth, it was great. If not, as long as we got a good sack with largemouth, we were perfectly fine with that.
Sure.
Let me ask you something though. Hypothetical, you've got 5 fish in a live well, you catch your 6. You've got 2 14-inch fish. One of them's a largemouth, one of them's a smallmouth. Without breaking out the scales, which one of them are you going to throw away? They're both 14 inches long.
I'd probably we can keep just so we can bring the weigh in.
Huh?
Just so if that was the last fish we caught, we could bring that smallmouth to the weigh in just to show it off.
Okay, no, but what I'm really trying to get is I would think a 14-inch large smallmouth would be thicker and probably outweigh the largemouth, but I don't know. I've never caught a smallmouth.
Now, I know guys, in terms of my experience, even on watching the guys on BASS, if they can get a largemouth versus a smallmouth pattern, they're taking a largemouth.
Sure.
Because they weigh more.
But they get bigger
they
overall.
Just get bigger, right.
My question
Same
is
size
2
fish.
equal length fish. One of them is going to weigh more than the other.
I would think the largemouth, personally, just what little experience I have.
I would think that a 14-inch smallmouth is probably thicker, more muscled up, and would probably weigh more than.
Next week we'll ask Johnny Pace,
Cliff Pace.
Cliff Pace. We'll ask Cliff that question. He'll know.
He was one that makes that hot sauce
from New York.
Justin, with the boys that won this, this was obviously no slouch as far as their day one and day two. I mean, the first day that they won it, 27-5, they had over 20 pounds on day two. What do you know? Did you find out what they were patterning and what they did?
Yeah, they were throwing that Ben Parker spoon, that Magnum spoon that just came out.
Yeah.
And that's what they threw the whole tournament. On the second day, they actually pulled up beside us on one of our schools, and they had like 30 minutes left, and they only had 2 fish in live well. They pulled up beside us throwing them big spoons and put their last 3 fish in live well within 5 minutes.
Didn't that make you feel good?
It made us sick.
Golly.
Been there and had that happen before.
So how deep were the fish?
We were, in the beginning of the morning, they would move up on top of these humps and points in 17, 18 foot, and then as the boat traffic picked up, got a little warmer, they would drop off to 20, 23, the fish that we were patterning.
Yeah, they pull off those flats and move off into the edge of the creek more.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they do on Pickwick.
What was one of the things that y'all found the most surprising, the biggest difference between fishing in Louisiana and then fishing Pickwick?
The fish there will bite humongous baits. We're throwing a 12-inch worm, and I mean, there isn't a whole lot of fish that's going to bite that down here.
You're not going to catch many in the Cane River on a 12-inch worm?
No, sir, not at all. We were throwing that oversized shaky head with that 12-inch worm. I mean, we were catching 1.5 2-pounders on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we found on Lake Fork you can throw about a 4-pound brim out there and catch a 2-pound bass.
Yeah. Well, hey, Justin, Johnny, I want to say congratulations to both of y'all again. We're going to have to take a break, but great job of getting the Northwestern State bass fishing team back on track again. I want to say thank you for that as well. I live here at Natchitoches and know Kobe Session. I know he's on the team with you guys, and hey, great job. And again, I'm just glad to see that program coming back the way it was at one time, one of the top programs in the country.
Oh, yes, sir, definitely. We pushed to get it back, and we're so happy with that we did, and glad we got good sponsors behind us and family and friends that support us.
There you go.
Do you need to mention one of those sponsors? Will that help you out?
Oh, yes, sir. We'll, we definitely have a few that's definitely helping out with national championship. That we got Citibank, Black Diamond Caviar, Natchitoches Power Sports, Mansfield Auto World, State Farm, and then Napa Auto Parts. We got Trev Cam Consulting, Natchitoches Eye Care, and just our family and friends. Natchitoches Ford as well.
Good.
What is Black Diamond Caviar?
That's actually Johnny's daddy's business.
Oh, okay.
What does it taste like?
Honestly, we don't even know. We haven't even tried it.
Thank you, boys. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you, man.
Oh, yes, sir. We thank y'all.
Justin Cooper, Johnny Leday from Northwestern State University, the bass fishing team there. 11th place in the BASS, the Carhart College BASS wild card at Pickwick.
Yeah, good job, good job. We got ULM Angler coming on next, and they finished national runner-up in the Cabela's Team of the Year Award.
How about that?
Yeah, we'll get them on.
Hooking up and tracking down, 11:30, the Tiger.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452. Some things just stay the same, but not Toledo Town and Tackle. Still the best selection of tackle on the bin. Zoom, dive with Gene LaRue and Sam Tone. Now double the size of the original store, you have twice as much to choose from. With a new deli serving the best hamburgers, pizza, and soft drinks, you'll find something that's sure to fill your belly. They also have a great selection of tees and polo-style shirts. So stop in and treat yourself to the best tackle box on the bin. Toledo Town and Tackle on beautiful Toledo Bend Lake.
Rick Terrell here for Terrell Brothers Furniture in Natchitoches, where we've got 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. You heard right, 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. And we've got over 20 groups to choose from. So before you buy living room furniture anywhere, come to Terrell Brothers Furniture, 310 Texas Street in Natchitoches.
Here's your Mr. Twister's best times to fish for this weekend. Folks, we're coming off a full moon, and with a nice little cool front that just came through, fishing should be fairly good. Starting on Friday, 5 a.m. in the morning till 7:50 that morning. On Saturday, 5:40 a.m. till 8:40 a.m. And on Sunday, 6:30 till 9:30 Sunday morning. That's your Mr. Twister. Best times to fish. Catch more fish more often.
Hooking up and tracking down is on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Toledo Town and Tackle, Gamakatsu Hooks, and Natchitoches Power Sports, your local North Louisiana power sports dealer. Now back to the boys who have more outdoors knowledge than Daniel Boone and Grizzly Adams combined. Steve, Gary, and Mike.
University of Louisiana Monroe is home for Nick Ladart. Ladart? Is it Ladart? Right, Nick?
Ladart, that's right.
Okay, we're going to get to. Are you a Louisiana boy, or are you just going to school here?
I am. I'm born and raised here in Monroe.
Hey,
there
look
you
at
go.
you. God love you.
My daughter just bought a house in Monroe. She'll be a coach at West Monroe there.
No, she didn't. Her daddy just bought a house.
No, Meredith bought the house. I made sure of that.
So, Nick, you guys just kicked some butt this year. Again.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty good. I'm a senior now. My freshman year, we got fourth. The year after that, we got second. The year after that, we got first. And just this past year, we got second again. So, we've been doing pretty well.
How many members on the ULM fishing team?
I think we probably got close to 15 this year. That seems to be about the number that we usually have.
Yeah.
Somewhere lower teens and mid-teens.
Now, is there a certain circuit that y'all focus on, like the Cabela's, or do you fish them all?
Not really. We kind of fish them all, but we've been real dominant in the FLW one. We've always done real good. Of course, we won the FLW National Championship last year, and me and my partner got third this past year, and we've always, just about every time we fish, we place in top fives in their tournaments. So we fish all of them, but we seem to just do a lot better in the FLWs.
Now, I've got a question. If you, as you're getting your points, because you guys, you finished up second this year with 2,156 points, right behind North Alabama. They had 2,289. How are the points dispersed? Does the best team from ULM get the only points, or is everybody given points who competed?
It's the best two. So, and every school will send, sometimes we'll send 3 or 4 teams, but your best 2 is the ones that you get points for.
Oh, okay.
If somebody were to send 10 teams, they can't get points for all 10 teams, and then another school send 3 teams, and that would just kind of be unfair. So they take the top 2.
Right.
What was your favorite lake y'all went to this year?
My favorite lake is Lake Pickwick. It's over in Alabama.
We just talked to them.
Yeah, we just had Northwestern State on, and they just got back from there and had a good finish there. So and they love that body of water as well.
Oh, it's fun. You can do whatever you want out there and go catch fish. If you want to fish deep, you can catch them like that. If you want to go run crankbaits around shallow timber, you can do that. That lake's just full of fish. It's just fun to fish.
Now, when you show up, are you trying to pattern a little more, comfortable setting, a little bit shallower of a fish, or are you wanting to get out there and try to throw deep like some of the guys, from that particular area?
Well, believe it or not, I like to fish deep. Actually, I grew up fishing Caney Lake, and Caney Lake actually fishes really deep.
Mm-hmm.
And in my comfort zone is actually fishing deep. So whenever I go to lakes like that, I actually try to find fish deep. And usually when you find fish deep, you can find more fish. You can find like large schools and stuff like that. So those are usually the type of patterns that win tournaments and stuff like that. So I mainly try and focus deep almost throughout the year except for spawn.
Nick, you just brought up a lake that was probably the biggest powerhouse in Louisiana history for a long time with Caney Lake. What the devil happened to Caney Lake besides all the grass being gone?
Well, actually, I feel like it's starting to make a little bit of a comeback. It's still tough out there, but like you said, they put the grass carp in there, killed all the grass, and of course we've had a bunch of bad spawns out there the past 10 years or so. But I feel like in the past year and a half, I feel like it's starting to get a little bit better. I'm starting to see a lot. The schools of fish I'm finding are a lot bigger, and the fish are a lot healthier. And I got all the good units and all the my hummingbird and all that stuff, and I can see down there the size of the schools and the size of the bait fish. And I really feel like in the next 2, 3, 5 years, it's going to be pretty hot again.
Hey, Nick, I got a question for you. You know, I didn't go to college, and well, as a matter of fact,
it's kind of obvious every week.
Well,
he just keeps hammering that point home.
Any type of education really kind of eluded me. But I consider you an athlete. I do.
Amen. Yeah.
Okay, but when they practice football, they do this on campus. When they practice baseball, they do this on campus. What are the stipulations or the consolations for Nick Ledart wanting to go practice, and you're fishing? I mean, how do you leave? How do you go practice and leave campus, and how is that governed by the school?
Well, of course, fishing it's kind of like an individual sport. With football, it's teams. With baseball, teams, and all that. You can practice together in one place. With fishing, it's all individual. It's all up to me, my partner. So when I practice, I like to go by myself. I go out to wherever, Bartholomew, Canyon, Darwin, all these lakes around here, and that's just how I practice. I practice by myself because when it comes down to it, it comes down to your decision making and how you plan to fish tournaments. I mean, it all comes down to you. It's not. I don't have a coach or I don't have teammates I can lean on or nothing like that. So when I practice, I like to practice by myself.
Well, the thing you alluded to earlier, that you love going deep, fishing deep water. Right. Nick, that's something you have to learn. Who was your mentor in there? Everybody can go fish shallow. You just, pick up a spinnerbait and go fish a bank, fish a worm, whatever. But to learn to fish deep structure like that, you have to have somebody usually kind of mentor you. Who was your guy that kind of brought you along on deep water fishing?
Yes, that'd have to be my dad. We kind of grew up. He had never fished a bank. My dad, he called people that fish the bank beaters, and he knew that if you beat the banks, you'd probably get beat in a tournament, So, I mean, because those fish get so much pressure on them, so I probably have to credit my dad. And, back when I was growing up, we didn't have electronics and all that stuff on our boat. So I kind of learned to fish deep by reading the water instead of reading the graph. I really think that's what's helped me a lot is learning to read the water and learning to read the fish and how they react more than reading my graph.
Huh. Have you had much experience with tidal conditions, like maybe down on the Gulf or something along those lines where you got an influx of tide going in and coming out? Or
not really, but the Tennessee River, when I was talking about Pickwick earlier, it's part of the Tennessee River. They control that water up there. They control it daily, so they can pump water in, they can pump water out, they can move a lot of water, like move any water. So it kind of acts as almost a tidal water, and I've been to Pickwick 4 or 5 times for, weeks at a time, and so I've kind of gotten to learn, if they're dropping water, how they position on those deep holes. If they're raising water, they kind of suspend and stuff like that. So that's probably my only experience with rising water and stuff like that. But it plays pretty close to tidal water.
What's next for you guys? I mean, obviously you're a senior. Are you going into your senior year, or are you just graduating?
I actually just finished up my senior year, but I have a few classes left this fall, so I guess this would be my 5th year.
Can you compete, or have you used all your eligibility?
No, I can compete, and some of the tournaments I'm going to compete in here pretty soon are ones I've already qualified for, that I qualified last year for. We fished the Washita River for bass, I think it was March or April or something like that, and I qualified for their national championship, which is 2 weeks from now, which y'all mentioned earlier. And then I've also qualified for the FLW Regional Championship, which is in October on Sam Rayburn. So some of the stuff I'm already fishing, I've already qualified for. And I can fish the ACA tournaments, which are the Pickwick ones and Chickamauga and all that stuff out east. I can fish those still in the spring.
What's your goal, Nick? Are you wanting to turn professional, or what's your major?
I'm in kinesiology pre-physical therapy.
Okay.
I plan to go to grad school, which is my physical therapy school after this. And, yeah, I do plan on trying to go pro. I'll probably start fishing the opens and stuff like that. And
that's a lot on your plate, trying to get through PT school and fish professionally.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a lot to begin with already, I mean, I'm almost pre-med, my minor is biology, so I've been kind of dealing with that for the past 4 years anyway, so I think I can do it, but
yeah,
I definitely am going to try and go pro.
Little hint for you, as you head over to Rayburn, you probably don't want to load up on beetle spins. It's probably not going to work out.
No.
There's been days I might have wished I had one, though.
I think that if a young man was headed over there to Rayburn, especially in the next couple of weeks, like you were talking about, I honestly believe that the day of the mud bug is back.
I could go ahead and tell you now, October deep cranking will be the ticket over there.
Oh yeah, we actually went last October to the same tournament, the FLW Regional Championship, and we got 5th. And we'd fish grass early and we'd deep crank later in the day, and that seems to be the deal out there.
You sleep good at night.
Yeah, really.
It sounds to me like they've got this college fishing stuff, sort of like the same way as football. These slow learners get to play football for 5 years. Now the same way, this is slow learner bass fisherman, and you're going to be back for that 5th year.
Amen.
Same thing.
Yeah. Hey, you got to stretch it out as long as you can. Get to fish on that
5-year program. Could have been me.
Hey, congratulations to you guys. I mean, you've obviously been part of a real successful program, and I'm sure that it wasn't successful by accident.
Well, it gives them a lot of confidence.
Well, but it's young men like himself, that are willing to spend the time on the water and do those things. You get out there and practice. That's on your dime. You're not getting any college money to pay boat notes and gas bills and stuff like that. So thanks to the sponsors who have supported you. Thanks to the program for being there. And thanks to you and your dad for putting such a great light on the state of Louisiana.
That's right. And while I got the chance, I do want to thank all of our sponsors. Like you said, they're a big help to us, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do anything. They support us real well, and they get our name out just as much as we get our name out. So I really want to say thanks to all of them.
You bet.
All right. Nick, appreciate you, man.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Good luck to you guys the rest of the year.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Nick Ledart from the University of Louisiana Monroe. Yep. I just have the toughest time saying ULM. It's Northeastern, man.
Rumor was they're trying to go back to Northeast.
Are they really?
Yeah, that supposedly.
Will they get to be the Indians again?
Well, I think ULL is wanting to take that University of Louisiana name away, and they be exclusively University of Louisiana, not just at Lafayette or at UL or Monroe.
They just be the University of Louisiana.
They just be University of Louisiana.
Really?
So there's some. We should have got Nick to allude on that.
Who sent that text in to remind me that Cupcake?
What did he say?
How'd he know I went to Hoodlawn?
He said, just remind him.
Yeah, Hoodlawn High School.
Let's hook it up and track it down. Pray for me. 11:30, the Tiger.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
Looking for a place to get away from it all? Look no further than Red River's Midway Marina in St. Maurice. Owners John and Kemp Nelson invite you to stop by for lunch or come in and rent one of several cabins for the weekend. RV hookups and a nice boat ramp that leads to some of the best skiing and fishing on Red River. Fully stocked bait and tackle store with gas pumps on and off the water. So book your next trip online, MidwayMarinaStMaurice.com or call 318-646-0097.
Hello everybody, Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff with the Hooking Up and Tracking Down show. Folks, there's nothing I love more than my Rhino. I've had 3-wheelers, I've had 4-wheelers, but if you want the best of the best, you need to get you a Rhino 700 from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchitoches. My Rhino does more than take me to and from the deer stand. It is a great utility vehicle around your house. You can use it for all kinds of stuff, including yard work. I've got it loaded down right here. But one of the best features of the Rhino, it's got a dump bed right in the back of it. So go see the guys at Honda Yamaha Village of Natchez, Chip, Layton, and the gang over there, and let them show you the new Yamaha 700 series from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchez.
Legendary quality, At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truted transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
Let's go eat at Hana's Steakhouse and Sushi Bar. They have all of our old favorites, or we could get something a little more exotic, like the Hibachi Grill, conveniently located at 814 Kaiser Avenue.
Hello, I'm Troy Umbehagen. We at Natchitoches Nursing and Rehabilitation proudly support and watch TV17's local programming.
This segment of Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger is presented by the Gear Grabber Lure Hanger System, Midway Marina, and Red River Waterway. Find your next outdoor adventure on the beautiful Red River. One more time, here's Steve Graff, Gary McCoy, and Mike Eckel.
Welcome back to Hooking Up and Tracking Down. Final segment, folks. Sometimes you have to return to your roots where it all started. That's exactly what Cypress Knee Outdoors is doing right now as they're going back to their original location at 3J's 4-Way, exit 127 east of I-49. John Abraham is expanding 3J's to accommodate Cypress Knee, but he needs your help. They don't want to move everything back. They want to get rid of everything in Cypress Knee that they can for a limited time. They want to go ahead and ask you to come by. They slash the prices on all hunting and fishing gear. You can get great deals on bows, fishing tackle, hunting gear. So go see John Abraham and the gang at Cypress Knee Outdoors, located at intersection of I-49 and Highway 6, right there at the Natchitoches exit. Turn right. It's right next to Burger King. Can't miss it. Great prize in there yesterday, 25 to 50% off all product in the store right now, and they got some really good deals on bows right now.
And you didn't see nothing that I would have liked?
There's a bunch of stuff in there you'd like.
Well, I mean, brother.
You would have liked you to have brought it for us.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Christmas isn't here yet.
I mean, you were in there.
You might get something, okay. If I can save some money on you guys, and we'll probably get something,
Hey, I gotta remind you, of course, your Louisiana fishing license is out now. June the 30th, it's gone.
Yeah.
So go ahead and get that taken care of.
Yep.
Before you head to the lake this weekend, get that. And while you're there, just go ahead and get that your hunting license and everything.
HIPAA.
The HIPAA.
I did all mine at one time.
And I wanted to remind you, I talked to State Representative Jeff Thompson here 2 or 3 weeks ago. Well, it was July the 4th. I talked to him, and because of the Hunters for Handicapped, or Hunters for the Hungry, they are now finding that we've got a way to be able to sponsor that program through a license plate program. Supposedly, according to Jeff, the Hunters for the Hungry license plates will become available in August.
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and do that. You're going to be helping that program to survive, especially after the disaster.
So
that
you
we had.
just the DOT and change? You can change
Yeah,
it?
you just take your old license plate in there and tell them you want to trade it over and you want to get one of the new personalized ones for Hunters for the Hungry.
It's a freaking nightmare going in that place.
Something we forgot to follow up on was the what was it? Get me a brain, I guess. The inspection sticker on the boat trailers.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And the law was either passed or repealed, whatever it was. I want to thank Brandy Pierce, who we had on the show here a few months ago.
Yeah.
Now, you do not have to have an inspection sticker on a boat trailer.
Yeah.
That does not apply to four-wheeler tractors and stuff like that.
But a boat trailer is
Strictly
excluded.
boat trailers, you do not have. And for the people sitting out there saying, well, you never had to. Yes, you did. We just didn't do it.
Right.
But the law has been repealed. You do not have to have an inspection sticker on a boat trailer.
Tell us about the Ram Slam, Mike.
The Ram Slam, we had our tournament this past Sunday on Black Bayou up at Halton. We had
Halston.
I said Halton, didn't I?
Halton,
Oh,
yeah.
God, what is
That was
the
a new
matter
one.
today?
I hadn't fished that one
I
yet.
hit my head when I fell out of the boat yesterday.
He's slurring his words.
Anyway, we fished up on Black Bayou at Halston. 16 teams went heads up, and we had a little side pot. Actually, Claude Eccles and David Brown had 11.97. That's 3 fish to win the side pot until they got a dead fish penalty and lost it. Clarence and Tom Voss had 11.96, and they took the side pot home. But the next one is coming up. 8 teams advance to the third tournament. That'll be August the 17th. We'll draw the lake. It'll either be Bistineau, Cross Lake, or the river. And Team Voss, Clarence and Tom Voss, will go up against Team Ultimate Bass. That's Mike Cork and Brian Hester. Team Phoenix Boat, Justin Cruz and Barry Taylor will be competing against Team Meltra Chemicals. That's Mark Hay and Earl Glass. That's going to be a tough one right there. All of them are really. Team R&V Works, Clayton Fry, Ray White will be battling out against Team Gray's Welding, Travis Gray and Eddie Morgan. And then Team
Another
Rivers.
good matchup right
Yes,
there.
it will be. Team River City Floors, David Brown, Claude Eccles will be going head-to-head against Team Rimmer Electric, Stuart Toney and Bradley Virgilito. That next tournament is going to be August 7th. Yeah, August 17th. KMSS will film that weigh in. It'll come down after that to the Final Four, and wherever it is, we'll go out on the water and film those 4 teams battling that out, and the weigh-in will be at Landers Dodge in September.
Have you informed the rest of them that Gary McCoy and Steve Graff hooking up tracking is automatically in the finals, that we were guaranteed the wild card spot?
I did tell them, and when they quit laughing, they said they didn't care.
Said bring them on.
Show up.
Hey, a couple of things that we need to remind you, hutd.net. Anytime I get Facebook messages all the time, hey, where can I listen to some of the archive shows?
Right.
hutd.net. That's our website, hookuptrackdown.net. Look it up there. Also on the Facebook page. We try to keep that updated as well.
Also on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah, you can actually watch us on YouTube.
Yeah. And thanks to all of our guests that showed up today. Nate Prefert from the Preferts was on the show. The wonderful young guys, Johnny Day, Justin Cooper from Northwestern State University, Nick Ledart from University of Louisiana Monroe, their fishing team, and obviously Johnny Geis, who every week just brings it for us. And this week, Mark Gennert, National Director of the TBF and the High School World Championship, hopefully with a couple of local boys competing in that, a couple of local teams from Benton and Airline, and from Monroe as well. We'll try to get one of those guys on the show with us next week and find out how we fared, as a Louisiana team on that front. One other thing that I wanted to mention real quick, coming up July the 26th, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, the Shriners Hospital is going to be putting on the El Caruba Louisiana Sportsman's Taster. Your daddy always told you, if you kill it, you eat it. Well, they show you just how good that can be here in the state of Louisiana. We've got, obviously, the Sportsman's Paradise here and some incredible food. 5th Annual El Caruba Shriners Louisiana Sportsman's Taster. Samples of Louisiana cuisine by area sportsmen. All supports the Shriners Hospital for Children in Shreveport. You can get your tickets at El Caruba Shrine. That's where they're going to hold the event.
Out on Cross Lake?
Out on Cross Lake, July 26th, 4:30 in the afternoon. Call the El Caruba Shriners to get your ticket, 631-1595, 631-1595.
We have a Hunters Expo coming up, right?
August 22nd through the 24th, the Sportsman's Expo.
We will be there.
Shreveport Convention Center. We're going to have an archery tournament this year, which is new to us. This is going to be an open archery tournament, and I'm thinking there's going to be some pretty cool stuff up for grabs. You need to jump online. You can just Google Sportsman's Expo, and any one of the number of the 6 station radio stations will pull that up. But get your information on that, and then jump in on that. We've got OT Fears coming in this year.
Oh, is he?
He's going to be there.
Oh, cool. That'll work. All right, well, it's time, I believe, for our final word. As we have discussed on today's show, hunting leases can be a little complex depending on the landowner or paper company. All landowners or paper companies will have stipulations on do's and don'ts, but most of the time, all you have to use is a little common sense. Be courteous and conscious of how you treat and respect the property you're leasing. Obey and observe all the rules the owner has in place. Remember, he probably does not care about how good the hunting is as much as he does about the timber and the mineral rights. If you leave the lease at the end of the season in better shape than when you got it, you'll probably have first shot at renewing for the next season. Folks, stay safe. May God bless. Until we meet again with more Hooking Up and Tracking Down.
The American Legion. We're a powerful force for the nation. We believe strongly in supporting the children of America. Our youth programs include American Legion Baseball, Junior Shooting Sports, Boys and Girls State, the Oratorical Scholarship Program, Support for Scouting, and many others. We support and promote citizenship and integrity in America's future leaders. Go to Legion.org to find out more about the American Legion's commitment of service to America.
Did you notice some brands sending out trophies from 2006 at boat shows this year? Really? It's like wearing your high school Letterman jacket to a job interview when you're 30. But if other brands are going to raise the issue of awards, no matter how old they may be, we're happy to join the conversation. When it comes to awards, Sea Ray is in a class all its own. Sea Ray is the most awarded boat brand ever. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter has yours waiting for you. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter is Louisiana's family-owned RV and marine dealer.
Rick Terrell here for Terrell Brothers Furniture in Natchez, where we've got 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. You heard right, 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. We've got over 20 groups to choose from. So before you buy living room furniture anywhere, come to Terrell Brothers Furniture, 310 Texas Street in Natchitoches.
We love it.
It's so much fun.
It's exciting.
Esto es vida.
Why do I have to wear a life jacket?
We wear it to be safe.
I've got mine on.
We're teaching our kids about safe boating.
Cogí un pescado así de grande.
We all love this life.
Wear it and love the life. This message brought to you by the National Safe Boating Council.
Welcome back to this week's Hooking Up and Tracking Down Tip of the Week. I'm Ranger Boat Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Today I'm going to talk to you about rain gear. Nothing more important than your rain gear. For years I used to pinch pennies and buy cheap rain suits that you pay $50, $60, $70 for. Go out, you put them on in a heavy downpour, you get your tail wet, and you wonder why. Well, because you don't buy, you have to, it's one of those products, you got to spend money if you're going to get a good product. This is definitely a great product. Ranger Boats uses a company called Tour Gear, tourgear.net. Check them out. This is where they get all their rain gear. Top quality rain suits that'll help keep you dry and warm, especially on those rainy, cold days that you're on the water. The features you want to look for, good zipper system. I always like the Ranger zipper system. And they also have the Velcro flaps where you can seal the zipper and use your Velcro to seal everything in. It keeps that water from running up underneath the zipper and getting on your body, getting to your jersey, getting to your shirt. All right. The other feature that I really like, Velcro cuffs. You can tighten these up really tight where the water won't go up under your sleeve. On both sides, they have it the same way. One of the tips that I'll give you too that I use a lot of times, I use the athletic wristbands that you used to use for playing softball or baseball. I'll wear a set of those as well, especially when I'm fishing and you're flipping. Water tends to run down your arm. Well, that sweatband catches the excess water that wants to come underneath the jacket. So that's one thing I do a lot when I'm wearing these jackets and fishing in the rain. But features, it's got a lot of pockets here, as well as, like I just said, it's got the flap. You want to make sure it's got a good seal on the flap because that's where the water tends to get in, especially when you're running down the lake. Next thing you need to get you is a good pair of pants or bibs. A lot of guys like to wear the bibs that snap over. I like the pants. They just seem to be more comfortable for me, easier to get on and off. One of the things you want to look for with the pants is good, easy access to the legs. I like a big zipper, a big opening, and also these pants not only have the zipper, they also have the snaps to help seal the legs down there where the water can't get inside the zipper as well, almost like a flap. So check that out. Make sure you got a good pair of rain gear pants because they will keep you dry, and there's nothing more important than keeping your body dry because when you're miserable on the lake, you won't fish well and it'll be an absolutely miserable day on the water. So get you a good set of rain gear, and a good set of rain gear is going to cost you $300 to $400. Spend the money, save your money on all the little cheap gear that you buy year after year. It'll end up paying for itself in the long run. A good set of rain gear will last you 8 to 10 years. So buy the good stuff, don't buy the cheap stuff.
The Natchez Parish Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Victor Jones encourage all citizens to remember to be safe, buckle up, and remember, no texting. Good morning. This is Sheriff Victor Jones. I need your help. I need your help to help me keep you safe. One of the ongoing problems, technology is good. But one of the problems that we see, an increasing problem, is texting while driving. I encourage all of you to help us to keep you safe by not texting while driving. Thank you.
You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
You're watching KNTS Digital 19 in Natchitoches, Louisiana.